So for the week, thankfully, somehow we were able to pull it off. Someone that I like to talk to on Instagram and someone that I talk to on YouTube. He likes to call himself the comeback king, and my friend, I guess I'm gonna have to copy that for this week. I want to say I'm a bit of a comeback king here, coming from negative 7,500 midweek and being able to pull off a profit of $589.78, which is How's it going? It's Rocky. Welcome to week number 17 of the year 2023 on our trading journey, which has now become our main source of income. So I am trading full time. What I have up on the chart here is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So I am trading the index futures, and that's denoted by the YM. And this chart that I'm showing is actually the 5-year 1 week chart. What does that mean? That means that this is the chart for the past 5 years, and each candlestick that you see here represents 1 week. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is you probably noticed this significant dip right here. And this is essentially the dip that occurred in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, where, the Dow was at around the 29,000 mark and it dipped all the way to 18,000 in a matter of about 5 weeks. And of course, after that 5 weeks, which, this was considered one of the shortest recessions ever, it recovered so much because of a lot of the pandemic money that was given to everybody, essentially. And that was needed to keep the economy afloat. And lo and behold, from 18,000 low in the past 5 years, it got up to about 36,000 around the January of 2022. And that's when sort of the problems started occurring again. Lots of talks of recession, inflation going up because of all that extra money. And that's what made 2022 very, very uncomfortable there. And if you're asking, why am I doing this overview of the past 3 years? The reason for that is I drew these two blue lines here. This first line that I drew right here is essentially the peak pre-pandemic. And then I drew another line here, more or less like the average of what it was towards the high before it started dipping again. And if you can see here right now, it was a very interesting week. It was a week where I was down almost $7,500. I managed to recover that, and we can talk about that towards the end on the account statement. And now that candle for the week is hitting that top line there. So it'll be an important week next week with FOMC coming up, and to see if has the Fed seen enough where they no longer will increase the interest rates, or are they going to continue increasing it? I feel like the big pop yesterday, Thursday, where it was one of the best days the market has had since January, and also the pop again today, Friday, the 28th of April. I don't know if the market is pricing in what the Fed decisions will be, but something that I did do is if you look at how I did today, essentially, I ended up closing both my swing trade, and that's something I usually like to keep for a few weeks, but I closed that out. And of course, the YM, I'm intraday trading that, and I closed that out, of course. And I'm going to play it safe next week, and hopefully we don't get in trouble, because next week, again, FOMC with this line touching there, I don't know where it'll go, and I can't afford to really swing for too long, so I'm going to take it day by day. I am not going to have a bias one way or another. I'm just going to wait to see what the market gives me. Now let's go through the account statement for this week. I'm recording this on Friday, April 28th in the year 2023. It's 4:41 p.m. in the Pacific Coast, and the main goal that I have by showing this transparency is to give you a realistic overview of what it's like where trading has become my main source of income. I no longer have a W-2, so it's really important for me now to be on top of this and be able to produce a couple $1,000s every week to be able to pay the bills, because I do live in a high cost of living area. And if you're curious about, the technical analysis and basically to give you an idea of what my strategy is, not because I want you to copy it, but mostly because if you needed some sort of base that could help you with your system, feel free to check out my previous videos, or you could also check out my page. On my page in the live tab, what I like to do is 15 minutes after the US market close, when I have an opportunity, I do a quick recap and I go through my trades. So there I'll go through why I entered, why I exited, and exactly the details of those you can also see on the description. I write down what my parameters are, and the reason I share this is just so for those folks who maybe feel lost and they're just guessing on what they're doing, this is a good start. I'm not saying this is the ultimate way of trading, because there is no right way. It's really just ability to adjust and pivot as needed to see how you can be successful based on what the market is showing you. Now let's go back to the account statement. What I'm showing here is a statement from Sunday the 23rd to today, Friday the 28th. And we'll go through this. Just want to point out that I paid myself this week. Earlier in the week, Monday, I withdrew $1,000. So what we'll do is we'll add that to our ending cash. And I just want to point out our balances here. I'm going to focus a little bit on the balance. You see how we started at $40,529.78. And as we scroll down, you can see that it went down to around 39-ish because I did withdraw $1,000. Then we got up to 41,200, so that's pretty good. And then I had a big loss. He went all the way down to 35,000. So again, this is one of those, if you wonder with my daily posts if what I'm showing is realized or unrealized, because they are mark to market, you can see that they are indeed realized. So there's no such thing as unrealized or features, because right at the US market close, anything that's unrealized becomes realized. You can still hold it overnight, but that's why it's important to know what your cash value is when you are trading the futures. And from 35, we got down to actually $31,000, as you can see here on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, thankfully, it was pretty strong. We were able to recover to a point that we were back up to about 38,000. And then a bit of a mistake that I did here, but I don't really call it a mistake. It's part of the trading plan. Got down to 33,000. And then as we keep scrolling down, back up to 37-ish thousand. And then Friday today, we got back up to 40,000. So quite happy with that. So now I'll bring the calculator just so we can calculate exactly how we did for the week. So, our ending cash is $40,119.56. And as I mentioned, I withdrew that $1,000 in the beginning. So we will add that back to our ending cash. So our ending cash is $41,119.56. And if we scroll up, we'll subtract what our starting cash was, which is $40,529.78. So for the week, thankfully, somehow we were able to pull it off. Someone that I like to talk to on Instagram, and someone that I talk to on YouTube, he likes to call himself the comeback king. And my friend, I guess I'm gonna have to copy that for this week. I want to say I'm a bit of a comeback king here, coming from negative 7,500 midweek and being able to pull off a profit of $589.78, which is nothing to sneeze at given the roller coaster that I went through this week. This type of results is definitely not enough for replacing my W-2 income, but I am happy in how it has turned out. So happy that everything is closed out and we are ready to take on next week. Again, something relatable. I'll just do this. In the US, a full-time job is 40 hours, so we'll divide that by 40. So there's an hourly rate of $14.74. So, I mean, in some areas, that's now below minimum wage. That's an hourly rate for sometimes when you work in fast food. So it shows you how tough it can be to live in that amount. But in some areas of the country, that's totally doable. So it's all relative to where you are and how you are with your finances. Anyway, thank you for your time and the opportunity for me to share my journey with you. Hopefully it's relatable and it's something that you enjoy. If you didn't like what you saw, give me another chance and hopefully you'll like what you see on the next one. All right, have a good one. See ya.